Gotta appreciate
Absolutely.
it. We're going to go to a going to bring Billy Ratliff back with us. We're going to be talking about his days as a Vol, his days now as a VFL, and his shows with Volunteer Roadshow and Morning Chat. So we'll be right back. Stick with us.
And we're back, and we have a special guest, Volunteer Roadshow's own VFL, Billy Ratliff, the MVP or the star of the show with this Arkansas rewatch that we're doing. So, Billy, how you doing, man? Billy, there?
I'm here, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So, Billy, I was just kind of introducing you a little bit, VFL, kind of the savior for that 98 season with that stumble fumble it was against Arkansas. It was at in Neyland. So tell us a little bit of just kind of that season as a whole and what was kind of your mindset. A lot of national media and I guess people around Tennessee thought it was going to be a rebuilding year, but it was definitely not the case. So what was kind of y'all's mindset going into that season?
Well, I'll tell you this here, man. That season coming in after 97, after, we lost quite a bit in 97 with Peyton, Leonard, all those guys. And, a lot of people didn't think that we had a chance to, win no more than 8 games. And I'm including our coaches, because our coaches, said the same thing. I don't know if they was using it as a motivational tool or whatever. But, I remember Coach Fulmer saying that, I think that we have our team this year, we may win 8 games, if that. And, of course, that motivated us. And then you got players like Al Wilson, T. Mart, Pillis Price. These guys, the one person that really pissed off was Al Wilson. Al was, when they said that about 8 games that we was going to win, Al went ballistic. He pretty much called a meeting with everybody and told the coaches to get the hell out of the meeting.
It's fair. I mean, that seems like something he would do.
Oh, man. Al was everything you heard about Al is exactly who Al was, man.
We were just talking about his return and after the blocked field goal, and he's the only person I think I've ever seen that's scarier running the football than he is tackling. I mean, he looked like he was trying to hit someone as hard as he could as he tried to score a touchdown.
He was something else, man. I mean, Al just he didn't play, man. He was not the type of guy on the field you wanted to have tail with, man. I mean, he was the coach. Everybody said Peyton was coaching the offensive coordinators. Well, Al was the same way, and that was, I'm talking about as a freshman, Al was like this. It wasn't till he became a senior that he became great, man. Al was like this when we first came in '95. We both came at the same time, and Al had this leadership thing that he had that was 24/7, man. I mean, even the older guys that we was playing with, they looked at Al was like he was a senior. That's the type of leader he was, man. And Al was just a special talent, man. When I found out that this is when I realized Al was going to be who Al was. It was the game where we played Memphis and lost to Memphis. And at halftime, I remember we was barely even winning at that time because, Memphis, they couldn't score on offense. I don't even think Memphis had 100 yards total the whole game, and they beat us. And at halftime, you talk about Peyton Manning as a Heisman Trophy candidate. Peyton Manning is like the Tom Brady now in college. You couldn't touch him. But at halftime, this is when I knew Al Wilson was going to be who Al became. When Al was cursing out Peyton Manning, and we were talking about Al's a freshman now. He's cursing out Peyton Manning, and then this is when I knew. When Coach Fulmer looked at Al and said, "Al, you need to calm down." Al turned around and said, "Coach Fulmer, if you don't get out my you-know-what face, I'm talking to my teammate. You my coach, this my teammate. This between me and him." From that moment on, man, that's what put Al to become the leader he became, man.
Yeah, and that kind of was the mantra of the whole defense. And obviously it took more than Al Wilson, but he definitely was kind of the attitude setter. Is that right?
Tone setter.
Tone setter.
Yeah.
You all just that defense, especially in '98, was just played with an attitude. And I think that play we were just talking about where you were able to wreak some havoc in the backfield and create a fumble. What was going on there in not only your minds but your teammates' minds? Because it flashes to the sideline and a couple of guys' heads are down. It definitely seemed like a loss before the Arkansas fumble. What was that play like? You knew you had to make a play, I assume.
Well, it's I'm gonna tell you like this. So, everybody was trying to tell me, they want me to tell the story, what happened before the play, and all these things here. And everything that you heard about it was exactly true. What I said to T. Martin by keeping his helmet on, we about to get this ball back. Every defensive player in America, if they're not thinking like that when they're going on their field, they're not a player anyway. And when I said it to T, I didn't think it was going to actually happen. So when I told T, I said, hey, man, keep your helmet on, man. We're going to get the ball back, man. I got you, baby. And I go out there, and guys, I'm telling you this here. Before that 1st and 10 that we went on the field, I had 0 tackles for loss. I didn't even have a pass breaker.
Hey.
I didn't have a tilt ball. I didn't have anything.
Hey, you don't have to out yourself. We didn't read the stats off. You got to do that to yourself.
But the thing is, I was used to having tackles for loss in the backfield and stuff because offensive linemen couldn't block me. If you block me one-on-one, it's not going to work. But this kid that was across from me, man, oh, my gosh. Brandon Birdworth, man, when I say this, he was a monster. He didn't look like he was an All-American or monster, man, because when I say, if you just saw him out there in front of you, this man had these big Coke bottle goggles on. His pads was just hanging out to, his hip pads was hanging out like your pee-wee pads and stuff. And my defensive players like Al Wilson, Raynard, Fred White, all they do is talk noise the whole game to who they think is the weakest link on offense. And they so happened to pick this man out because he looked like he wasn't ready or whatever. And, man, guys, when I say this here man here was a brick wall, I couldn't do nothing against him. It was times I tried to switch with Darwin Walker to get him to change position and come to the left side because hey, Darwin, hey, man, this guy pretty strong, man. I think if you use your strength against him, man, I think you can get to the quarterback a lot easier. And, of course, Darwin's like, okay, man, I got that, man. Darwin had that little soft-spoken voice. And he gets over there, 2 plays, boom, boom. He's like, hey, Warren. Man, we got to switch back, man. That man's something serious there, man. But on that play, though, man, I got to the point where I realized I was listening to the snap count. And Clint, he had a different cadence when he was going to do a quick count and when he was going to try to make it a long count. Well, this series, on 1st and 2nd down, he did a long count to try to make us jump off sides or whatever. But I didn't care what he was going to do. I didn't care what play we call on defense. All I was going to do is run a 40 to the goalpost and put my hands in this man's chest and push him back as far as possible. That's all I was thinking about is jumping the snap and try to get off the ball. I didn't think that when I got in Birdworth's chest and bull rushed him, that it was going to push him back that far to trip over the quarterback's leg. And of course, I still, to this day, I don't know what the heck coach was thinking of calling a pass play when all they had to do was just milk the clock.
Correct. Yep. That's Houston enough for you, I guess.
Man, and he'll tell you, man, he's like, yes, I was trying to win the game. I was trying to get a 1st down and run the clock out, and it'd be a lot harder for us to drive it down and score. But I don't think he was expecting the Travis Henry show to become what it was.
Oh, my goodness. He was a workhorse, and, you talked about some of those guys They mentioned earlier in the season, so we're watching through the whole season. They mentioned not Travis Henry, but Jamal Lewis and Al Wilson had a bench press contest that they had to stop because they didn't want either one of them to get hurt. So, do you know for a fact did they finish this maybe on their own time?
Oh, they did. I mean, Jamal was a monster, man, with the bench press, man. I mean, Al was too, man, but Jamal was a different breed, man. I mean, I've seen this firsthand. You know, I mean, you're talking about a running back bench pressing 400 pounds like it wasn't nothing, man. I mean,
it's crazy.
You know, 400 pounds, that's a lot of weight, man. People don't realize that, but 400 pounds is not light, man. And I'm talking about it wasn't just your any type bench press. You know, you're talking about the prison-style bench press where he bounces it, puts it back up, and come halfway down, and push it right back up like it was nothing, man. I mean, and then that competition that day when him and Al, you know, I think it was like they were doing like 350, then they went to 375, and then 405 or something like that. You know, that was like the reps, like 6 reps of this and then 8 reps and all this. But when they got to the 405, man, I'm watching these two do this here because they worked out together. They was roommates, so you basically, you know, you worked out around your schedule with each other because they rode to campus together, so they had to work out together. Well, I'm like, man, ain't no way they about to do this. I mean, because I know what they have bench pressed before. You know, I know they can do 350 like it's nothing, but we had strength coaches, man, that would make you believe that you can lift a dang on mountain, man. They'll be, you know, you have these guys, these personal trainers that barely touching the bar, talking about some one more set when you don't have nothing left. Well, that's what our strength coaches were doing to Jamal and Al. They got to 375, and I remember Al pushing it up like it was just like a piece of paper. And Jamal got over there, and then he got up and he did 380, and Al was like, you know what? Let's try this 405.
Oh, my goodness.
They had never did 405 before, man, and they're going to put 405 on this bar.
So they get it? Is 405 the highest?
Yeah, and then Al got it. So Al had a different technique when he did the bench. He would drop the bar, the weight on his chest so hard where it bounces off his chest, and it goes right back up. I'm like, man, I don't know how you do that. Because if I bounce it off my chest like that, I feel like my rib cage is going to collapse.
Yeah, your heart will stop.
And when Al got the 405, Jamal was not going to let him outdo him. And sure enough, Jamal did 405 like it wasn't nothing. And that's when they quit. They quit at the 405. They didn't let them go no more.
They're done after that.
That was probably. I mean, obviously they were freaks, but I'd imagine that was some adrenaline working the.
Oh yeah,
the
I mean that was probably just that whole team, just the competition and all of them. And you hear a lot about it today. And guys don't want to go to different schools because they might have to sit behind somebody. They don't really want to earn their spot. But there was just a different mindset with this group that the competition was always there.
My guys, competition on my team when I played, it was, gosh, you know, there was not a day that there wasn't a competition. You know, I'm talking about from getting to the stadium first. I'm talking about who had the cleanest car. I'm talking about who had, you know, who it was competition all the time. Madden competition. Hey, it can be Tiger Woods golf or something. You know, we competed against everything. Who had the best dip and rip move? You know, we competed about anything. But when it came to practice, guys, I tell you like this here, man. I've never played in a game harder than any practice I ever practiced. You know, and I'm serious. I mean, me playing against Brandon Burrsworth was practice for me every single day because I had a kid by the name of Cozy Coleman that was across from me that I had to go against every single day during that time. And I mean, Cozy, those are my 2 toughest offensive linemen I ever played against ever was Cozy Coleman, Brandon Burrsworth. Nobody else can block me. That's point blank period.
I like
if
that.
you playing me one-on-one, there's no blocking me. You're going to have to double team me.
We've got film to prove it, too, if they have a question about it. We got film to prove it.
So Billy, I have a question. So you come from Mississippi, so you're not a Tennessee guy. You have some Tennessee guys, but it's like a good mix. But with this class, currently the 2021 class, they're going out of state and getting all these big time recruits. What's it like going from out of state to Tennessee? What was kind of that process like, and what? Because you're still here, so you obviously enjoyed it that much, where you're still enjoying it down in Knoxville. So what was kind of that like?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, man. Like doing my recruiting process, man, it was different from me because I didn't know anything about Tennessee. I didn't know anything about any other schools besides Jackson State, Alcorn, Southern Miss, LSU. I didn't even know anything about Ole Miss. I didn't know anything about Mississippi State. None of that. Traditions, I knew none of that stuff. I just remember when I did come to Tennessee on a visit, all the kids, all of my teammates, everybody that I met, it made me feel like I was at home. It made me feel like each one of the guys that committed to Tennessee that I ended up coming up here with, it reminded me of one of my teammates that I played with in high school. And still to this day, me and most of my teammates that I played with, they're still my friends. We still talk. It's the brotherhood that we committed to and created. Now we have, we know each other's like, family members, kids, and everything. It was the family-oriented process is what made me love Tennessee. When we created that bond, and we haven't broken it yet, man, because I'm still cool with every last one of those guys, man. I may not talk to them every single day, but once we get together, it's almost like we haven't skipped a beat. Al comes in town, it's like we freshmen all over again. Fred comes in town, Peyton comes in town. It don't matter who it is, and that's the process that I wouldn't even think, going back to high school to now, I can't believe that I'm still here in Tennessee because the Billy Ratliff that came from Mississippi, my mom would tell you this. I was a mama boy. When I moved away to Tennessee and she dropped me off, she dropped me off here at the age of 16 years old. I'm a 16-year-old freshman here with grown men. I've never been away from home. I've never had to wash my own clothes. I never had to do that stuff. I was homesick plenty of times. I skipped town 3 times before I actually became committed to Tennessee football. Believe it or not, man. The coaches got me 3 times. Man.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna have to.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, man. I would do it exactly the same way.
I think that's great to hear because I think everybody kind we're going to get Billy Ratliff back on, though. Not today, another time. Quick shout out to him, though, obviously, with Volunteer Roadshow. He's got the morning chat with Billy Ratliff, and then he's on Volunteer Roadshow with Bobby. While I'm mentioning them, I'll also talk about Picked Off with Josh and Carter. Make sure you check them out. And plenty of written content on the website, so make sure you go check that out, too.
Yeah.